Alright, hey, welcome back. It's after a 1 week hiatus. Wisconsin's Classiest Commish, the classiest man on the planet, is back. We had some technical difficulties last week. I've been moving a lot of things around in this basement studio, and so we just wasn't able to get a show out. Like, I needed to technically get a cord to make all of this still work. So, I can't make Amazon send it faster, and nowhere around here has one like this. So, we took care of those technical limitations, and we're back and better than ever. This is episode 4 of Wisconsin's Classiest Commish. Tonight we have the season's very first power rankings. Yes, I am aware that I am going head-to-head versus the NFL. I am sure my ratings will be much, much higher. But, for those of you that do watch, you're going to want to see the power rankings. Spoiler alert, the Cuba City Cobra Kai are not on them. Okay, I have league picks for us this week, and I have an update on Survivor Island. I have updated the video. The main issue there is that it crashed 3 times while working on the animation, so we have a little bit different video, but we don't have all of the fun animations yet. We're also going to have a special appearance by Turd Ferguson himself. He felt bad that he lost you guys money a couple weeks ago, so he's coming back, hopefully to win you money this time. Although, if you used the bonus pick 2 weeks ago, you would have made money. 2-1 Notre Dame over Wisconsin, no brainer. Remember, if you've been betting along with the Wizard of Odds and Turd Ferguson, you are still way up for the season, and we're going to try to see if we can't make it better. The sad part is last week, nailed the dogs hard. So, had a really good week last week, but obviously I did not put those picks out there for you guys, so you missed out. So I don't know, let's get right into the show tonight. We don't want to waste too much of your time, let you watch some of that football. So, we're going to move on to the We Energy Power Rankings, the first ones of the year! Alright! Man, there are a lot of teams that are really good, and then there's the Cobra Kai. Right now, it was hard to get this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all right there. 10, 11, 12, you all know who you are. Okay, so in the number 6 position, I have Paulie here to beat Colby. They're 2-2, solid team. Not much is separating them from moving up. They just haven't played a tough enough opponent. So I looked at the teams that we've played. They are averaging over 100 points a game. All but one of these teams is averaging over 100 points per game, and but their opponents just have not scored on weeks. So when everything is so tight, that was a differential for me. So Paulie here to beat Colby, sitting at 6 on the first We Energy Power Rankings. Number 5, The Last Dance, 2-2, tons of points. Somehow is already off Survivor Island. So if you look at their point totals and realize that they had the lowest score in the league 1 week, you know they're putting them up. But the reason they're in the 5 spot and not any higher is they are ride or die on Rodgers to Adams. Last week, Rodgers did well but did not throw to Adams, and that sunk The Last Dance. So to be a championship contender, they need to get one more piece of the puzzle, maybe a big-time running back, maybe a separate big-time receiver. Let's see what they can do. Number 4, No Harm, No Foul, keeps running into buzzsaws and rivalry games where they could very well be 4-0. A well-rounded team with boom potential, and by boom potential, I mean they could make a championship run. Let's see who they play this week. Oh yeah, the Cuba City Cobra Kai, who has played all kinds of teams scoring tons and tons of points. Number 3, the Flying Fallopians, last season's champs. They are 4-0, one of 2 undefeated teams. They do not want to give up that championship title, but they have been the beneficiary of a very weak schedule. They're the only team not to score 100 points a game so far this season, but they are winning the games that they need to win. They are up 4-0. If they were to go 500 the rest of the way, you gotta figure they're in the playoffs pretty easy. So they're 4-0. They're still the champ. The team does need some work if they want to repeat. That is for sure. This iteration of this team cannot repeat as is. But for the time being, number 3, the Flying Fallopians. Number 2, Tom Buckin Brady. If you wouldn't have laid an egg last week, we're looking at probably the number 1 team in the league. Making that first trip out of conference, and they couldn't get a touchdown on the board in a week where the NFL scored the most touchdowns in a weekend of the season, according to NFL Red Zone anyways. And so since they scored the most touchdowns and Tom Buckin Brady couldn't get one, it was just one of those weird, unlucky weeks. This team is going to be around all season. They were a preseason favorite in the top 3, I think, and they are looking real good. They got a tough division. They buzzsawed right through it the first 3 weeks. They're going to be around all season. And number 1, the Slaughterhouse Hams, the 4th straight huge win. Zeke has found his youth, and we know that the refs do not call fumbles on Zeke. So I don't see the Hams going away anytime soon. It is the class of the league right now and should stay that way for quite a while. All right, now we're looking at our weekly picks as the Commish's weekly picks for Wisconsin's Classiest Fantasy Football League. The Commish has been quite poor at these. 7-11 on the season, went 2-4 last week. Just have not got a beat on these games yet. First up, we have No Harm, No Foul versus the Cuba City Cobra Kai. Easy peasy, no harm, no sweat, 145-90. No Harm, the winner. Kings Game Breakers versus Tom Buckin Brady. Debo Samuel scores 60, and the Game Breakers score what would be the biggest upset of the entire year. Flying Fallopians versus Dougie Style. The Style are a tough team to figure out. 2 of the 3 lowest scores of the season, yet they're sitting out here 2-2. I actually think this is another one for the Fallopians. They're going to be 5-0. They're going to win this game 80-75. Only Bee in here versus a Fly Eagle Fly. Only Bee gets off the schneid. She's much better than her 1-3 record. She'll walk away in this one in the battle of these 1-win teams. I see Only Bee with an easy win. And probably our marquee game that's not a rivalry game, the Hams versus Polly here to beat Colby. This is going to be a high-scoring shootout. But it looks like the Hams will get nipped and get their first loss handed to them by Polly here to beat Colby. Well, 120-118, the H2BC take care of the Hams. Our rivalry week, we have one game this week. It is The Last Dance versus Phil Lip Service. This one's rated 16 of 18 on the Commish rivalry matrix. This, like last week's, is usually a low-scoring event. The Service own a 2-1 series edge. I have this one as an actual high-powered slugfest this week. I got the Phil Lip Service winning 110-105 as the Bengals stymie the Packers. Okay, I want to talk. We got Survivor Island. Survivor Island, the person kicked off last week was the Cuba City Cobra Kai. They joined Polly here to beat Colby, the Dougie Style, and The Last Dance in being banished from the island. Who left will survive. We're going to go ahead and we're going to show you that new revamped video. decided I felt bad. I felt bad about you guys losing. You get a bunch of, you're better than a bunch of anal bum covers or whatever. So I got my Trans Am in the back now. I got rid of that. Got rid of that stupid looking castle that was back there. Yeah, so I felt a little bad about going 2-3, but remember, if you took my bonus pick of Notre Dame over Wisconsin on the money line at 2-1, well, you made off like a bandit. All right. Some of you old guys got that. All right, so this week, last week was the week of the dog. I think this week is the week of the favorite. Tonight's game, I am heavily invested at the Rams -2.5. I know this is after the game has started, so I'm not aware of how that game's going. I'm probably down 14 right away, but yes, I'm invested in the Rams -2.5 heavily. So now we have, but for the weekend, for games that you can bet in the NFL, my first one we got here is Tennessee -4.5 at Jacksonville. Look, they were really, really bad last week. Like, really, really bad. Like, because the Jets are really bad. They went to overtime. The defense couldn't stop the Jets. And Corey Davis? Like, well, who is Corey Davis? Corey Davis. So, Corey Davis. But I got him bounced back. Mike Vrabel usually doesn't lose 2 in a row. That's why they're always kind of around. Tennessee -4.5 at Jacksonville. I know you want to say Urban wants to come out and he wants to get right back at the grind. The grind. But look for a bounce back. Tennessee -4.5 at Jacksonville. The New Orleans Saints -2 at the Washington football team. They let a New York football team win last week. This week will not be the same. Something is wrong with the Washington football team's defense. Nobody knows what it is. New Orleans -2 at the Washington football team. Cardinals -5 versus the 49ers. Look, I want to tell you this right now. 49ers aren't a good football team. I know, right? But they're not. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. Their big claim to fame is physicality, and they just haven't been physical all year. And you cannot just turn that on. The Cardinals are riding high. They are not going to have a letdown this week in this game. Cardinals -5 at home versus the 49ers. I have the Steelers in a pick'em versus the Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater went out with a concussion last week. He's coming back. I mean, all of his deep threats are gone. The Steelers defense plays really good close to the line. I mean, you're looking at this game could be like 17-10, 12-9. Might be a kicker's game. I'm going to take the Steelers at home in a pick'em. All right, they were not as far out of that game against the Green Bay Packers last week as the score may have indicated. And my lock of the week, my absolute lock of the week, is the Raiders -5.5. Run out, get that number while you can. As long as it's under a touchdown, grab it with all you can. Raiders -5 at home versus the Bears. The Chargers are a bad matchup for the Raiders. The Bears are an amazing one. Especially, the Bears couldn't run if they wanted to. They're not going to run. The Raiders are a good football team this year. The Chargers were a bad matchup for them. So that is Tennessee -4.5 at Jacksonville. New Orleans -2 at Washington football team. Raiders -5.5 versus the Bears. Cardinals -5 versus the 49ers. And the Steelers in a pick'em versus the Broncos. And that takes us to the conclusion of tonight's show. Thanks again, all you people that do tune in. I know I do have a couple people who watch this. The league that aren't in the league. Thanks again. It keeps us doing it. Sorry again for being last week. I tried to put it up as soon as I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it. I want to wish everyone good luck this week, and I want you all to remember to stay classy.